Hey, what's up, geeks? Darron here. And this morning I'm going to do something a little bit different. And I want to start doing this a lot more for you guys. I'm going to answer a question from a guy called Pink Dollar. And what he told me was that he's new to college, he's going to pursue the engineering route, and he needs help with math. Now, to answer that question, I'm not going to focus on math specifically because you don't really need that much math in engineering. You just need to be able to connect the dots. But I'm going to let you know, I'm going to ask you, is React Native right for you? And I'm going to answer that by giving you guys my experience with React Native and how I got into React Native. I'll also answer the math question as well, but that's not what's going to make you a successful engineer, being good at math. It's going to be passion and interest. So first off, let me let you know why I like React Native so much. When I first started coding, I started coding with Swift. This is when I had no engineering background. I didn't go to school for computer science. At the time mobile engineering was completely new, and I actually played college ball, if you guys don't know. So mobile engineering was completely new. Smartphones had just came out, and I was just curious. So it wasn't really this book that I have next to me, but it was a book called Swift 5. Swift 5, right? And this is a newer book than before. But it was a book called Swift 5. In that book, I learned, it taught me a little bit about Objective-C, but it focused primarily on Swift and was letting me know how to create classes and how to basically build components. I had no idea what I was reading, but I was getting something to show on the screen, and that it piqued my interest. And I struggled when it came to understanding languages itself. I didn't understand the importance, I didn't understand how you use them, but when I took a tutorial or something, sometimes it gave me, taking that tutorial, it was more copying. I couldn't take that knowledge and then build my own applications. You get what I'm saying? So after I had that, I actually had a roommate who suggested that I get into React Native. I went into web first. I touched HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It was cool that I got something on the screen, but my passion wasn't with web development. And that's when my roommate actually recommended that I get into React Native. He said it's something that new, Facebook just announced it. So it's like, okay, I'll check it out. Instantly, I was hooked. Now, React Native wasn't as sophisticated back then, but the best part about React Native is that it used DOM-like components. React Native is a compilation of XML and JavaScript. I can't think of anything else right now, but that's what React Native consists of. So because I was using elements that was similar to what you would use on the DOM, it made it a lot easier for me to understand. So when I actually started designing, I started with the front end, just designing, putting things on the screen, and it helped me build my confidence. So that's how I got into React Native, just understanding that those mobile components and how they worked and seeing how similar they were to the web, it helped me feel a lot more comfortable becoming a React Native developer. Ultimately, when you choose a career path, you have to know yourself. A lot of people, they go to college and they study in the field that their parents want them to do. Their parents are thinking, okay, I want my kid to have long-term security, which is okay, but if security is the only thing you're thinking about, at some point in time, you're going to hit some level of depression, because you have to do things in your life that interest you. You have to be around people who are good to you. You know, that's just the way we're designed. So ultimately, when you are becoming an engineer, you have to make sure you have the passion for it. Yes, engineering is complex and math can be hard, but if you're passionate about what you're doing, you'll find a way to get over that. As far as the math question goes, I would say this: on a daily basis, I rarely use much math. You know, there's thinking that's involved, there's calculations that are involved, but math itself, no. For the most part, when I'm at work, the biggest thing that I'm dealing with is that I'm trying to learn what is the amount of data that I'm getting back from the back end, from the API. What data am I looking at from the API? How does the company want that data to look on the screen? How can I mutate that data using maps or using any other type of loop? That's what I'm concerned with. And then also creating the props and the types to actually map that data correctly. That's the most complex part for me. So that's what I work on a daily basis. When it comes to math, all you need to know is regular, I want to say, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and you'll be fine as a developer. You don't need to know any kind of major algorithm. I know when you're in college and they're throwing all these hard algorithms at you that make you feel smart because you can answer these algorithms, you're going on these websites, you're answering all these really complex problems. They'll ask you questions like that when you first get out of college because you have no work experience. But once you get work experience, nobody cares about your math. They want to know what you have done, what role did you play there, and if you'll be helpful with their company. I want to stress passion again. Passion for what you do is the most important thing. I'm very passionate about React Native. As I stated earlier, I didn't go to school for software engineering. I got my undergraduate in economics and I got my master's. Actually, I did get my master's in IT. So when I got my master's in IT, information systems specifically, they focus primarily on database architecture, database design, and and also there's a small little portion of it that's applied to programming. Now, the thing that I liked about my master's program is that it was more about getting data and using that data, and that's exactly what I do on a daily basis. If you're going to school for like computer science or something like that, you're not going to be building many applications in computer science. It's mostly about thinking more about problem solving and thinking through an algorithm. But anyways, the reason I say passion is because I'm really passionate about what I do, guys. I did this because it was a hobby of mine. I actually got paid to do a hobby, so I really enjoy what I'm doing. I actually have books next to me all the time. I'm trying to become a better engineer. There's a book called The C Programming Language, which was recommended to me by my boss. We exchange books sometimes. Another book is called Mastering TypeScript. And the one I just showed you, I have a bunch of other books in on my bookshelf as well. But this is things that I'm interested in. So if you have interest for what you're doing, you're always going to go far because you're always learning. And software engineering is always developing, is always changing. So if you're always learning, you're going to have a good a good foundation, and you'll be able to take those foundational skills and apply them to anything else that you do. Last but not least is opportunities. I am blessed to be a React Native developer. I literally get about 3 to 5 people reach out to me on a daily basis for in React Native positions. And it's nice to be in a position where you have options, you can turn a company down, you have control over your wage, you can ask for X amount of dollars, you have control over your hours. I recently had a company reach out to me and they're asking me, hey, can you just work for us part-time for X amount of dollars? If you work for us part-time, you can work you can work these amount of hours for these amount of days for these hours. You can set your schedule out, whatever. If you want to take 2 days on the weekend, 3 days during the week, you want to do this, you can do it. Really what we want, we already have engineers. We want somebody that can manage our team and then help us build up our GitHub, help us build up our Circle CI, our Flash lane, make sure the application is being architected correctly for the long run. And then I just listened to him. It was cool to actually have this conversation with somebody because I work as a React Native engineer, and they're putting me in a position where not only I would be an engineer, but I'm also like I want to say a controller of the application. There's there's other major companies that reach out. Like there's always there's put like this. If you really want to get really good opportunities, make sure you have a LinkedIn. There's going to be companies that you have to apply to, and usually are like mid-level companies. But a lot of these major companies, I want to say like a Walmart, a Tesla, a General Motors, or an Apple, any of those major companies like that, they actually, because they want skilled labor, they will go through a contracting company. And there's some contracting companies that are like global, that are major, and they're global, and they make sure their engineers are seasoned. And I've worked for one of these companies as well, but I noticed that all the companies that they would send me to, all these companies were highly billion-dollar sophisticated companies. And that's the opportunities that you have as a React Native developer. There's just not a lot of people doing React Native developer. There's not a lot of people who commit to development in general because of what I just told you. You have to be committed to lifelong learning. But anyways, I like doing these types of questions. I would like to do a little bit more of this. I can code for you guys and build something, whatever. Just let me know if you have any kind of React Native specific questions, and I'll answer those questions for you. But like I said, I want to give you guys advice. I want to help you grow your React Native career, and then I want you to become a software engineer quickly. So if I can get you a job quickly, then that's a big accomplishment for myself. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.